Well, welcome Canterbury families and Canterbury students. Right now, we're going to announce our winners for our Penmanship Festival. For many years, Canterbury Christian School has had a Penmanship Festival to demonstrate cursive handwriting. Now, the history I was told is that Mrs. Milbank, one of our founders, our first principal, believed in doing a Penmanship Festival here at the beginning of May because students tended to get sloppy towards the end of the year. They got to be restless with their handwriting, and so she thought it was important to put a festival right here at this time of the year to remind us of the importance of good penmanship. Now I have before me the list of all of our winners. We have 3 winners from our kindergarten class. We have 3 winners from our lower grades, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and 3 winners from our upper grade, 4th and 5th grade. But before I read those names, I want to articulate to some and remind others why it is that Canterbury uses cursive or teaches cursive handwriting. And I'm going to borrow from our friend Iris Hatfield, who has an article on Memoria talking about the benefits of cursive handwriting. So she lists out a couple of reasons, and the first one is the idea of increasing neural connections. Now that's a fancy way of saying that writing in cursive, and generally writing by hand, increases the connections inside of your brain. That cursive handwriting stimulates the brain in the way that typing at a computer cannot. And so therefore it increases your mental effectiveness. So while cursive might seem laborious, it's actually training your brain and encouraging large regions of your brain into thinking. The finger movements with your hand are connected with those neural pathways in your brain. Second reason we should all be learning and practicing our cursive is that being able to write in cursive makes it possible for you to read in cursive. Now, I was dismayed to hear that many kids in public and private schools don't do cursive anymore. And so when they go to the Smithsonian, or when they read ancient being a couple hundred years old documents from our fathers in the country, they can't read them. In fact, they can't even read the letters that their father wrote to their mother just 20 or 30 years ago because they have no ability to read cursive. So writing it teaches us to read it. The third reason is that writing in cursive increases your speed at which you can write. Many of you will go off into university in a few years, and you will have to take notes. The temptation is going to be to type them on a computer. And it's true that we can type very quickly, but writing in cursive will be significantly faster than writing by print. That stop and start method of writing in print is slow compared to the cursive letters that you're learning to write. Another reason that we learn to write in cursive has to do with our kindergarten program. You see, writing in cursive encourages and improves fine motor skills. Now, motor skills are those fine movements of our fingers and our hands and the way that they're connected. Writing in cursive, even as we do here with 5-year-olds, develops those sensory skills. The idea of holding the pencil, holding the paper, putting the right pressure, making the correct steps is encouraging the development of those fine motor skills in a way that is unique to cursive. This physical and spatial awareness allows us to write, but more importantly, it builds again that neural foundation that will help us do other things, like buttoning our shirts and fastening or tying our shoes, picking up objects. This development of our motor skills is done by focusing down on the details of writing in cursive. Now, we talked about how cursive makes you write faster, but it can also increase what you retain of the things that you write. In fact, there have been studies shown, including at the University of Virginia, that show that students who write down their notes as opposed to typing them actually remember more of what they write down. Now, this is generally true of everything. If you want to watch a sermon, or if you want to watch a lecture, or if you want to keep notes during a meeting with a friend, writing things down helps you retain what you heard. And so if you do it in cursive, you'll do it quickly and you'll remember more of it. Now the other thing is that cursive, what we learn here, is often described as difficult. But the reality is that teaching a child to write in cursive is actually easier than teaching them to write in print. And this is for a couple of reasons. Those students who have a difficulty distinguishing between letters in print, so take the D and the B, they look very similar and they're easily flipped. In fact, students who have dyslexia or mix up letters can be tripped up in trying to learn to write by print. But cursive doesn't have those same issues. In fact, it makes it easier for people with learning disabilities to learn to write by learning to write in cursive. Next one is improved legibility and spelling ability. Now, some of you are not surprised that I emphasize this because when you do your spelling test here at Canterbury, you're graded not just on whether the letters are in the correct order, but whether they are legible. But there's other benefits to this. When you develop cursive handwriting, you're improving the muscle memory of your letters. So common spellings are embedded into your memory. It makes you a better speller to spell things while you write in cursive. Now, before you think that's a little strange, think of it for those of you who have learned to play an instrument. You learn different arrangements of notes, and pretty soon that common arrangement gets embedded into your muscle memory. The same thing for those of you who play sports. The muscle memory of how you hold the basketball when you let go becomes part of who you are. And you become better by accepting and embracing that muscle memory. The same is true of those of us who write in cursive. Next one is it increases your self-discipline. Cursive handwriting is certainly complex. You have to remember where to stop, where to start, what the letters are, capital, lowercase, how to connect them. You have to think ahead, and you have to be willing to commit to an entire word as you write. This type of development of fine motor skills, hand-eye coordination, increases self-discipline. Learning cursive prompts children to develop themselves in this area, which then they can extrapolate to other parts of their life. Another benefit is that your signature will improve. Now, some of you know that my signature is not very cursive friendly, but those of you will impress your future bankers or your future employers with your beautiful cursive signature. In fact, that cursive signature could be the thing you sign on your future letters to your future spouse. And do you want it to be beautiful or do you want it to be ugly? And so having beautiful cursive handwriting that you can demonstrate will be a source of pride and dignity for you now and forever. And that's our final reason, that this reason we teach cursive is that it increases our self-respect. The ability to master any skill and to write clearly and fluidly improves a student's confidence and how they can communicate. No one's going to judge you for your bad handwriting if you spend time focusing on it. And in fact, if you get your cursive done and finished, as well as some of these kids who are going to be showcased today, then the people who look at your work will judge you based on the content of your work rather than dismissing you because of the sloppiness of your handwriting. You are creating a level playing field where you put your best self forward in how you write and communicate. So without further ado, now that we know why cursive is so important, we'll begin by reading the names, and I'll put here on the screen, as I say their names, the samples of their handwriting. Now, as I said, we have kindergartners who learn cursive here before they ever learn print. In fact, there was a kindergartner once who came to the school, and for some reason the parents ended up moving to another state and had to do first grade at a different school, and was frustrated because the teacher introduced this new type of handwriting called print, and all she knew how to do was cursive, such as the trial of a first grader. Now in kindergarten, our third place handwriting submission for our cursive festival award goes to Mr. Jake V. So I'll give him a round of applause. Here's his work here on the screen. And our second place cursive submission for kindergarten goes to Mr. Simeon L. Let's give him a round of applause. Look at his beautiful penmanship here on the board. And our first place submission from kindergarten for our penmanship festival is Mr. Aaron L. Let's give him a round of applause. Take a look at his beautiful penmanship here on the screen. Now in the lower grades, this is first, second, and third grade. We have 3 winners as well. So we'll begin with our third place cursive submission for our penmanship festival, and that is Miss Zoe C. Well done, Zoe. Let's give her a round of applause. Look at her wonderful submission here on the screen. And in second place, we have a third grader, Miss Amanda F. Let's take a look at her work. Well done, Amanda. Looks beautiful. And our first place award actually goes to a first grader. And that first place award for the lower grades is Miss Macaria H. Very beautiful, Macaria. Nice, neat, tidy, and beautiful. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, and now our upper grades. These ones are difficult because our Canterbury students have been practicing these for so long that a lot of the submissions look exactly the same. But here are those that stood out and are known for their neatness and their closeness to our rubric and our cursive guidelines. So in the upper grades, that is 4th and 5th grade, our third place submission is Miss Eliana S. Well done, Eliana. Take a look at her picture here on the screen. Eliana, that looks beautiful. And our second place submission for our penmanship festival is from Miss Gianna H. Well done, Gianna. Let's give her a round of applause. Yes, that one is especially neat. And our first place for the upper grades for our penmanship festival here for the year 2020. It's a 5th grader. It is Mr. Andrew W. Well done, Andrew. Take a look at his beautiful penmanship here. All right, now when you grow up and go off to college, everybody's going to comment on how wonderful your penmanship is. Let's give him a round of applause. Now this is a strange penmanship festival because usually these are displayed here on the campus, and now we're just watching a video. So go back and take a look at those cursive submissions that won our prizes and see how much detail was there. Maybe some of you are disappointed you didn't get picked. But we're going to do this again next year, and you can be working on your penmanship all throughout the year. Maybe during this time of shelter in place. You can work on your penmanship by writing a handwritten letter to Grandma. As much as she loves getting messages on Facebook or emails, getting a letter in the mail to your aunts or to your grandmother, to your uncles, to those who live in different states or even different countries is really special. In fact, I and my wife have boxes in our closet of the letters that we wrote to each other. Those handwritten letters that we wrote while we were courting before we got married. And those are very special. And you have the ability to create memories that will last a very long time by demonstrating and practicing your penmanship and checking in with those in whom you love. All right, Canterbury students, go and keep practicing, showing your best, showing yourselves prepared and confident, even in the way that you write. God bless you, and well done, students.